Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something epic. The complete life story of Lord Rama. We're going to distill it all, pulling out the key details straight from the source material for you.
Yeah, our goal is to give you that full chronological view, but also understand the deeper meaning, right?
Yeah.
His journey is this embodiment of duty and, well, the huge personal cost involved.
Absolutely. So let's set the scene. Where and when are we?
Okay, so you need to picture Ayodhya. This is thousands of years ago. A homely city ruled by the very just King Dasharatha of the Ikshvaku dynasty.
It sounds pretty idyllic.
It was, in many ways, stable kingdom, fair ruler. But there was this one big problem hanging over everything, a huge absence, really.
The king had no children, right? No heir.
Exactly. And that wasn't just, personal sadness for him and his queens. It was potential crisis for the entire kingdom's future.
So the stakes are high right from the start, and the solution wasn't exactly simple, was it?
Not at all. It required divine intervention. King Dasharatha performed a specific sacred fire ritual, the Pucharkameshti Yajna.
Ah, yes, the ritual specifically aimed at getting the blessing of a son, or sons in this case.
Precisely. And this is where the source material gives us some really key details right at the beginning about how things unfolded. It involves a divine delivery.
Okay, let's break that down, because the way the divine blessing, this payasam, was distributed is crucial. It dictates the whole birth order.
It absolutely does. So Agni, the fire god, he emerges from the flames and gives the king this bowl of sacred pudding, the payasam.
And Dasharatha has 3 queens. How's it divided?
Queen Kaushalya, she is the chief queen. She receives half of it, and she gives birth to Rama.
Okay, so Rama gets the biggest share, symbolically.
Right. Then Queen Kaikeyi, she gets 1/4, and she gives birth to Parada.
Got it.
And the final portion, the remaining quarter, goes to Queen Sumitra. She eats it and gives birth to the twins, Lakshmana and Shatrughna.
So Rama's position as the primary heir, the main figure, it's established right from conception, essentially.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. His divine origin and status are clear. And, Ayodhya was overjoyed. 4 princes.
But their childhood wasn't just about royal privilege, was it? They had serious training.
Oh, absolutely. Intensive preparation. Their guru was the great sage Vasishtha. He trained them in, everything they'd need. Scriptures, statecraft, warfare, and especially archery.
And what about Rama's character? What do the sources say about him as a boy?
Even early on, he's highlighted as being, calm, kind, incredibly brave, intelligent. But the defining trait is always his righteousness, his dharma.
And the brothers formed strong bonds too, didn't they?
Very strong. Particularly Lakshmana's unwavering devotion to Rama and Shatrughna's similar bond with Bharata. These relationships are fundamental to the whole story.
And that devotion, that training, it gets tested pretty quickly, doesn't it?
It does. Their formal education sort of transitions into a real-world test when sage Vishwamitra arrives at the palace.
Right, the great sage. And he has an unusual request.
Very unusual. He doesn't ask King Dasharatha for soldiers or guards. He specifically asks for Rama and Lakshmana, just teenagers, really.
To do what?
To protect his sacred rituals, his yajnas, from being disrupted by powerful demons.
That's a lot to ask of 2 young princes.
It was their first major calling, you could say. A real baptism by fire. And they went willingly.
And they succeeded.
They did. They defeated formidable demons like Tataka and Subahu. But maybe more importantly, Vishwamitra taught them how to use divine weapons.
Ah, the astras and shastras.
Exactly. The astras, invoked by mantras, kind of like divine missiles, and the shastras, the physical weapons mastery. This whole experience really sets Rama up for what comes next.
Which takes them away from home again, right? To Mithila.
Yes. The next major event is the journey to Mithila, King Janaka's kingdom. It's for the Swayambara, the marriage ceremony of Princess Sita.
And there's another test involved here, a big one.
The legendary one.
Yeah.
King Janaka had decreed that whoever could string the enormous bow of Lord Shiva could marry Sita. Many kings and princes had tried and failed. It was seen as impossible.
But not for Rama. How did he manage it?
Well, the sources emphasize his manner. He didn't show off, didn't struggle excessively. He lifted this colossal bow with ease and humility.
Just lifted it?
Lifted it, strung it, and then for good measure drew the string so tightly that the bow snapped into two pieces.
Wow. Okay, so he wins Sita's hand.
He does, but it actually becomes an even bigger family affair. It
Yeah.
wasn't just one wedding.
Oh.
What happened? It turned into a quadruple wedding. Rama married Sita, naturally. Then Parata married Sita's cousin Mandavi. Lakshmana married Sita's sister Urmila. And Shatrughna married another sister, Shrutakirti.
So the families became deeply intertwined, a strategic alliance as well as personal unions.
Very much so. And for many years after that, things were peaceful. Rama and Sita were happy in Ayodhya.
But the story doesn't end there, of course. The big crisis comes when King Dasharatha decides it's time.
Time to crown Rama as his heir, yes. What should have been a joyous occasion turns into, well, a catastrophe.
And it all hinges on Queen Kaikeyi, right? And those boons the king once promised her.
Exactly. This is where you see the immense, almost terrible power of a promise of dharma for a king. Influenced by her maid Manthara, Kaikeyi decides to cash in those two boons Dasharatha granted her long, long ago.
And her demands were just brutal.
Absolutely life-altering. First, her son, Bharata, must be crowned king instead of Rama.
Ouch. And second.
Second, Rama must be exiled,
Yeah.
sent to live in the forest for 14 years.
14 years. And King Dasharatha, he was bound by his word.
Completely bound. A king's promise, his dharma, was absolute. Even though it broke his heart and ultimately led to his death, he had to grant the boons.
And Rama, how did he react?
This is central to his character. Rama accepted it calmly, without anger, without question. He believed his son's highest duty was to obey his father and help him fulfill his promises.
Even a promise that cost him the throne and sent him into exile.
Even then. But it wasn't just Rama who made a sacrifice.
Right, because Sita and Lakshmana refused to stay behind.
They chose to go with him. Sita, as his wife, felt her place was by his side. And Lakshmana, out of sheer devotion, couldn't imagine being separated from Rama. They weren't required to go, but they insisted.
That's an incredible act of loyalty right there, the beginning of their shared hardship.
It is. And the tragedy deepens immediately. King Dasharatha, completely overcome by grief and maybe shame, died very shortly after Rama left Ayodhya.
So Rama's exile begins under the shadow of loss and political turmoil. What happens next? Hard wasn't even there when this went down, was he?
No, he was away visiting relatives. When he returned and found out what his mother had done to secure the throne for him, he was horrified.
He didn't want the throne.
Absolutely not. This is a key part, showing Fartha's own righteousness. He completely rejected the crown, saying it belonged only to Rama. He blamed his mother for the king's death and Rama's exile.
Did he try to get Rama back?
Oh, yes. He went into the forest, found Rama, and begged him to return and rule. It was a very emotional meeting.
But Rama refused, sticking to the exile.
Rama insisted he had to honor their father's word and complete the 14 years. So Bharata did something remarkable.
What was that?
He took Rama's sandals, his padukas, back to Ayodhya. He placed the sandals on the throne and ruled the kingdom purely as Rama's representative, never claiming the kingship for himself. A powerful symbol of loyalty.
Wow. So Ayodhya was ruled by proxy, essentially. Meanwhile, what was life like for Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana in the forest?
For a while, it settled into a kind of rhythm. They traveled through places like Chitrakoot and the Dandaka forest. They lived very simply, like ascetics, really.
Were they just surviving? Or did they have a purpose?
They had a purpose. They visited sages, offered protection against disruptive demons, basically upholding righteousness even in exile. It was, for a time, peaceful in its own way.
But that peace gets shattered, doesn't it? The turning point comes at Panchavati.
Yes. This is where the main antagonist, Ravana, the 10-headed demon king of Lanka, enters the story directly, though not initially in person.
He uses deception, right? The golden deer.
Exactly. He sends a demon named Maricha, who disguises himself as this incredibly beautiful, magical golden deer. It appears near their hut.
And Sita sees it.
Sita sees it and is captivated. She asks Rama to capture it for her.
So Rama goes after it.
He does, telling Lakshmana to stay and guard Sita under all circumstances. But the deer leads Rama deep into the forest.
And it's a trap.
It's a trap. When Rama finally shoots the deer with an arrow, Marita, as he's dying, uses his magic to cry out for help, perfectly mimicking Rama's voice. Oh, Sita, oh, Lakshmana.
Oh no. So Sita hears this.
She hears it, panics, and believes Rama is in terrible danger. She basically forces Lakshmana to go against Rama's orders and leave her to help his brother.
Leaving her completely alone.
Exactly what Ravana planned.
Yeah.
As soon as Lakshmana is gone, Ravana appears, disguised as a wandering holy man, a sannyasi.
And Sita receives him thinking he's genuine.
Yes, she offers him hospitality, but then he drops the disguise, reveals his terrifying true form, grabs Sita, and forces her onto his flying chariot, the Pushpaka Vimana.
And flies off with her. Where does he take her?
He flies south, across the ocean, to his kingdom of Lanka.
What happens when Rama and Lakshmana return?
Devastation. They find the hut empty, signs of a struggle. They are heartbroken, but immediately begin searching.
Do they find any clues?
They do. They find the brave, dying vulture king, Jatayu. He had tried to stop Ravana, but was mortally wounded. Before dying, he tells Rama that Ravana took Sita and headed south.
So they have a direction. What's the next step? How do they cross an ocean and fight a demon king?
They need allies. Their search leads them to the Kishkinda forest, home of the Vanaras, the monkey race.
And this is where they meet Hanuman.
Yes, they meet Hanuman, the devoted general, and Sugriva, the rightful Vanara king who's been exiled by his powerful brother Valay.
So there's another displaced king situation?
Right. Rama makes a pact with Sugriva. Rama will help Sugriva defeat Vali and regain his kingdom. In return, Sugriva promises to commit his entire Vanara army to help Rama find Sita.
And Rama helps Sugriva win.
He does. Sugriva becomes king, and now Rama has this massive army, including the incredibly powerful Hanuman ready to help him. The search for Sita begins in earnest.
This leads us into the next major phase, the war itself. And Hanuman plays a huge role here, doesn't he?
Absolutely pivotal. Sugriva sends out search parties in all directions, but it's the southern party, including Hanuman, Angada, and Jambavan, that gets crucial information. They learn Sita is in Lanka, across the ocean.
But the ocean is vast. How do they even get there?
Well, first, they need confirmation and intelligence. Hanuman, using his divine powers, he's the son of the wind, God makes this incredible legendary leap across the entire ocean to Lanka.
Just flies across?
An epic leap. He lands in Lanka, finds Sita in the Ashoka garden where Ravana has imprisoned her, trying to persuade her to marry him.
Does he speak to her?
Yes, he cautiously approaches her, gives her Rama's signet ring as proof he's a messenger, and assures her that Rama is coming to rescue her. He offers to carry her back immediately, actually.
Does she agree?
No, she refuses. She says Rama himself must come and defeat Ravana to avenge the insult. But Hanuman's visit gives her immense hope.
Does Hanuman just leave then?
Oh no. Before leaving, he decides to give Ravana a taste of Vanara power. He allows himself to be captured after destroying a large part of the Ashoka garden.
Captured? Why?
To meet Ravana, assess the enemy. Ravana's demons, as a punishment, set Hanuman's tail on fire.
Big mistake.
Huge mistake. Hanuman uses his burning tail to escape his bonds and then leaps all over Lanka, setting huge parts of the city ablaze before extinguishing his tail in the sea and leaping back to his companions.
Wow. So he returns with vital intelligence and delivers a major psychological blow.
Exactly. He confirms Sita's location and Ravana's strength, but also shows Lanka isn't invulnerable.
So now Rama knows where Sita is. How did they get the whole army across the ocean?
That's the next miracle. Rama prays to the ocean god, Varuna. After some forceful persuasion involving Rama threatening to dry up the ocean, Varuna suggests a solution.
Which is?
Nala and Nila, two Vanaras in the army who are sons of the divine architect Vishwakarma, have the power to make stones float. Under their direction, the entire army, monkeys and bears, built a massive bridge across the ocean to Lanka. The Ramasetu.
The bridge is built, the invasion begins. What was the war like?
It was epic. A massive, fierce battle lasting many days. Incredible heroes on both sides. Ravana had powerful warriors, including his son Indrajit, who could turn invisible, and his giant brother Kumbhakarna.
But Rama had Lakshmana, Hanuman, Sugriva.
and Vibhishana, Ravana's own righteous brother, who had defected to Rama's side after Ravana ignored his advice to return Sita. Vibhishana provided crucial intelligence about Lanka's defenses and Ravana's forces.
And ultimately...
Ultimately, after many dramatic duels and setbacks, Rama confronts Ravana in a final climactic battle and kills him. It symbolizes the victory of good over evil, dharma over adharma.
So Lanka is conquered, Ravana is dead.
Yes. And Rama immediately crowns Vibhishana as the new righteous king of Lanka, ensuring stability.
And Sita is rescued? Is it just a happy reunion?
It's complicated. This is a really crucial and sometimes difficult part of the story. Before accepting Sita back publicly, Rama asks her to undergo an Agni Pariksha.
The trial by fire. Why?
To prove her purity and faithfulness beyond any doubt, especially after living in the captivity of another man, even against her will. Public perception and the king's honor were paramount.
That seems harsh after all she'd been through.
It's often debated, but Sita, confident in her purity, agrees. She enters a large pyre.
And what happens?
The fire god Agni himself arises from the flames, carrying Sita unharmed, and presents her to Rama, attesting to her absolute purity. The gods watching from the heavens also confirm it.
So her honor is publicly vindicated by the gods themselves.
Absolutely. After that, the 14 years of exile are finally over. They prepare to return to Ayodhya.
And the return must have been triumphant.
Immensely so. They fly back in the Pushpaka Vimana, the same chariot Ravana used, now rightfully theirs. Their arrival in Ayodhya coincides with the Festival of Lights, Diwali, which is still celebrated to commemorate this return.
And Rama finally takes the throne.
Yes. Bharata gladly steps down. Rama is crowned king of Ayodhya, and this ushers in the period known as Rama Raja.
The legendary Golden Age. What defined Ramaraja?
It's presented as the ideal kingdom. Perfect harmony, peace, prosperity, justice. Everyone followed Dharma. There was no crime or poverty, and Rama ruled with perfect wisdom and compassion. It's the benchmark for righteous governance.
It sounds like the perfect happily ever after, but the story doesn't quite end there, does it? There's a later, more tragic part.
Unfortunately, yes. The sources describe a later period where, despite the Agni Pariksha, some citizens of Ayodhya started whispering, casting doubt on Sita's purity because she had lived in Ravana's palace.
Even after the trial by fire and the god's testimony.
Even then, public rumor and perception were still a factor. And for Rama, the king embodying Rama Raja, the reputation of his rule and the satisfaction of his people, even based on unfounded rumors, took precedence over everything, even his personal feelings, even the divine proof.
So what did he do? This seems like an impossible dilemma.
It highlights the extreme burden of being the ideal king. To uphold the absolute integrity of his reign and quell public discontent, Rama made a heartbreaking decision.
Don't tell me.
With immense personal grief, described as having a heavy heart, he ordered Lakshmana to take Sita, who was pregnant at the time, deep into the forest near sage Valmiki's ashram and abandon her there.
A second exile for Sita. Based on rumors, that's devastating.
It is. It's perhaps the most controversial and tragic part of the epic, showing the ultimate sacrifice demanded by his concept of royal duty, his Rajadharma.
What happened to Sita then? Alone and pregnant in the forest.
She found shelter at the ashram of sage Valmiki, the sage who is traditionally credited with composing the Ramayana itself.
Okay, so she wasn't completely alone.
No, Valmiki took her in, and there she gave birth to Rama's twin sons, Lava and Kusha. They grew up in the ashram, trained by Valmiki, becoming strong, wise, and skilled warriors,
Yeah.
but unaware of their royal heritage.
Did Rama ever know he had sons? Did they ever meet?
Yes. Years later, Rama organized a grand Ashwamedha Yajna, a royal horse sacrifice, a ritual asserting his undisputed sovereignty. The sacrificial horse wandered freely, and whoever challenged it challenged the king.
And Lava and Kusha challenged it.
They did. These two young boys captured the horse, defeating Rama's warriors, including Lakshmana and Hanuman, who didn't realize who they were fighting.
How was the truth revealed?
During the Yajna ceremony, sage Valmiki brought Lava and Kusha. He had taught them the entire Ramayana, and he had them recite the epic story of Rama's life in the royal court.
Reciting his own life story back to him.
Exactly. As they recited the verses, especially about Sita's exile, Rama was deeply moved. Valmiki then revealed that Lava and Kusha were Rama's own sons and that Sita was living purely in his ashram. Rama recognized and embraced his sons.
A reunion, finally. What about Sita? Did she return to Ayodhya?
Valmiki brought Sita to the court and vouched for her absolute purity. But Rama, perhaps still bound by public perception or needing absolute closure for his people, asked Sita to make another public declaration, another proof of her purity before the assembly.
Again, after everything.
Yes. And this time, Sita had had enough. Instead of undergoing another test, she made a final, solemn appeal. She prayed to her mother, Bhumi Devi, the earth goddess.
What'd she ask?
She declared that if she had been eternally true to Rama in thought, word, and deed, then Mother Earth should take her back into her embrace.
Yeah.
And the earth dramatically opened up. A divine throne arose. Bhumi Devi appeared, whelping Sita onto the throne, and then descended back into the earth, taking Sita with her forever.
So she returned to her divine origins, a final, powerful statement of her innocence and her release from worldly suffering.
Exactly. A poignant and tragic end to her earthly journey, marked by immense sacrifice.
What about Rama after that, and his sons?
Rama continued to rule Ayodhya justly for many more years, with Lava and Kusha eventually becoming his heirs. He fulfilled his role as the ideal king to the very end.
And how did his own journey conclude?
When his time on earth, his avatar's purpose was complete. The sources say he calmly walked into the Sarayu River near Ayodhya. He submerged himself in the waters and disappeared, returning to his eternal divine form as Lord Vishnu in his celestial abode, Vaikuntha.
So the entire epic traces this arc from divine birth through trials, kingship, immense personal loss, fulfilling duty, and finally a return to the divine.
Precisely. His life, as told in the Ramayana, remains this enduring blueprint for Dharma righteousness, duty, virtue, compassion, respect for parents, sacrifice, forgiveness, all these ideals.
It's an incredibly powerful narrative. The concept of Rama Raja, the perfect rule, is still held up as an ideal.
It absolutely is. The story's influence is just immense, culturally and spiritually.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. Drawing directly from the tensions within the story we've discussed. We see Rama Raja presented as the ultimate model of perfect governance. Yet achieving and maintaining that perfection required the immense, repeated, heart-wrenching sacrifices of Sita, culminating in her second exile based on public opinion, even against divine proof.
Right, that fundamental conflict is always there.
So the final thought for you is, what does this epic truly reveal about the inherent, maybe even irresolvable tension between a leader's duty to their people and their kingdom's flawless image versus their own personal life, happiness, and perhaps even their own knowledge of the truth? It's the core paradox, isn't it?